What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Vegas 46. We have Calvin Kattar going against Giga Chikadze. And yeah, great to be back. First Draftkings video of the new year. So looking forward to that. It's been so much craziness this week. We've lost so many fights. We've got so many fighters that have changed opponents. And I'm finally getting the video out here on a Friday. You know, typically want to get it out a lot earlier, but just so much craziness going on. So yeah, here it is. Before we get started, as always, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe here to DFS by the Numbers. I'll be posting content throughout the week, going live on Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and then live once more 1 hour prior to the prelims, so go check that out as well. Turn on the post notification bell. That does help out also. So, the big announcement of the year, if you guys have not heard yet, I did finally release my website, dfsbythenumbers.com. If you don't want to sign up for that, you just go to the join now, and it's basically like what I was doing on Patreon, but it's on here. It's much easier, not only for me, but for whoever's going to be using the content as well. Say you do want to sign up for the MMA DFS. With that, you get access to my MMA model with all the stats, the MMA lineup optimizer, the advanced stats page, the FanDuel stats, the DraftKings stats, all the good stuff, the DFS articles, the premium projections, access to Discord, the GPP lineup percentages, and then the targets and rankings. The biggest thing out of that is that optimizer as well. So that's $10 a month, the DFS, the betting, $10 a month. The DFS and betting is $20 a month. If you are a current Patreon, like I said, if you do want to sign up on the website, let me know, and then I'll refund you on Patreon for the month. But yeah, guys, check it out. The website is finally ready to go, and really happy with how many people have signed up so far. Really blown away, really. I was not expecting to have this many people this fast to get on there. I thought it would be kind of like a slow build, but I do appreciate everybody that has signed up thus far. I think it's going to be a lot better than the Patreon, but I still will be using the Patreon as well. I know some people do prefer that. The Patreon will still be up and running, but I think people will like the website a lot more. So I say we get right into the video. Let us start, as always, with the fights to target. The fights doesn't go to decision lines, and we are missing a couple. We're missing the Rosa fight doesn't go to decision line, and then we're also missing the Kelleher fight doesn't go to decision line. But this is what we have so far. We have Royval Bontorin minus 205. Fight doesn't go to decision. And this is one of my favorite fights to target, just based off the fact that it is a Brandon Royval fight. We've seen that in Brandon Royval's couple of UFC fights thus far. He has never seen the scorecards in a UFC fight. He has a 90, I want to say it's like a 92% finish rate for Brandon Royval. Let me double check here. Yeah, 92% finish rate for Brandon Royval and 83% finish rate for Rogerio Bontorin. Both guys are capable of finishing. Both guys are capable of being finished. I think this fight does finish. I personally do lean towards the Brandon Royval side at 8,800. What I like about him the most is his striking, his pace, his cardio, his volume especially. But, there are some things I don't like about Brandon Royval, and that is the takedown defense, and that is also the fact that he is very hittable. So, yes, I'd like Royval to win, but I'm not going to completely count out Rogerio Bontorin, and I think whoever does win this fight, it's going to be inside the distance. So, that's definitely a fight I do want to target. Kattar, Chikadze, minus 200, fight doesn't go to decision. I could actually see this going to decision, and I'm actually kind of picking this fight to go to decision as well. But if there is a finish, I do kind of think it could be Giga Chikadze early. Giga's very dangerous. He has finished his last several opponents, his last 3. The only thing with that is Calvin Kattar is very durable, so I do expect this to get extended. I do expect this, like I said, to potentially even go to decision. I think, Giga's going to be clearly winning, the first couple rounds. I just think once this gets extended into the 4th and 5th round, where Giga's never been, I do think it could get a little bit sketchy there. So yeah, the price tags are kind of nuts, right? If these price tags were like a year ago, I would be shocked, and I am kind of shocked a little bit. But yeah, but Giga, he's 9,300, and Calvin Kattar is 6,900. Like, that's pretty insane. But I think Giga does get it done, so not going to complain about it too much. I like Giga here. I'm going to have more Giga, but Calvin Kattar is 6,900. If he is able to weather the early storm, I could definitely see him taking over late. So I want to have both sides here, but I am more on the Giga side personally. Bush versus Borshev. This is a striker versus grappler. I think, either guy who implements their game plan is going to score very well, whether it's Borshev able to stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet. I think he could potentially knock out Dakota Bush. That's definitely on the table there. And then if Bush can get this fight down to the mat, and we have seen Borshev taken down a ton of times, Never seen him submitted, never seen him really in much trouble. He has been able to work his way back up, but Bush is a very good grappler. Would not shock me if Bush was able to, get the fight down to the mat, potentially get an early submission like he has done before. I personally do lean towards the Borshov side. He is 9,000. I think if he wins, like I said, a knockout, and then if Bush wins, I think it's by submission. But yeah, I think this fight has a very good chance of finishing as well. Pickett Holmes, minus 145. Fight doesn't go to decision. Yeah, this is a fight I'm probably just going to stay away from. The only thing I'd look at would be Holmes because he has a 100% finish rate. But with that said, he's finished a lot of guys that are not good. I mean, the best guy that he finished was Jonathan Patty, and Pickett even finished that guy. So, yes, he has a 100% finish rate, but I really see this fight being like a slow-paced, boring fight for the most part. So, I'll have a little bit of Holmes at 8,600, but this is a fight, honestly, is more so a fade for me, even on a 10-fight slate. I think there's much better fights to target, like the 3 we talked about, and then like the Kelleher fight as well with Kroom, and then also the Brown and Rosa fight. I think those are all better fights to target than Pickett Holmes, but if anything, it's going to be some Holmes for me. Going into our core plays, Giga Chikadze 9,300. I just really like this matchup for him. If this was a 3-round fight, it would make it a lot easier for me. But like I said, I think at the very least he wins those first 3 rounds, 3.5 rounds. Maybe round 4 he starts to slow down. Round 5 he really slows down. But I think at the very least he can win a decision here. Decent volume. Calvin Kattar is very, very hittable. 50% striking defense. He's absorbing more than he's giving out, and that's even without the Holloway fight. He's still absorbing more than he's giving out. So I think it's a really good matchup for Chikadze. I just worry about what he looks like later in the fight. It is a 10-fight slate. I will have some lineups without the main event. I think that'd be pretty sneaky because I could see a scenario where Chikadze is able to kind of pick apart Calvin Kattar for the first couple rounds. He starts to slow down. The volume goes down. Obviously, Giga's not going to shoot any takedowns, get any control time, so maybe he does score pretty low in decision. So I'm going to have some lineups without the main event, but my pick here is going to be Giga. I hate the 9,300, but this is a week where you don't have to worry about salary. I'm leaving a ton of salary on the table because of some of the guys we'll talk about. See, I think Giga wins, but if this was a fight card with like 14, 15 fights, I would probably be fading Giga for the most part, to be honest. But since it is 10 fights, I will have a decent amount. Joe Anderson, Brito, 8,600. I really like Brito here. Again, there are some concerns, as there is with Giga, in terms of the gas tank. So Brito's gas tank, I'm a little up in the air about it. Some fights, Brito's gas tank looks really good late in the fight, but there are some fights where Brito's gas tank looks very questionable. And the thing with Bill Algeo is takedown defense is very bad. So I think that Brito is going to have so much takedown upside here. I think, honestly, like Brito has one of the highest ceilings on the slate just because of the takedown upside. He's very strong, a very good wrestler, a very good grappler, a black belt. But Bill Algeo is a very good black belt in his own right, and he has a phenomenal get-up game. So with that phenomenal get-up game, I think it's going to lead to more takedowns, which means more points. But yeah, this fight could potentially get sketchy late if Brito does slow down, because Algeo is going to put on a pace that a lot of fighters cannot keep up with. But if Brito does win, I think it's going to be a big score. So for that reason, I do like Brito quite a bit at 8,600. Next, we have pretty much the free square on the slate, and I don't say that often, but he pretty much is. Brian Kelleher, 7,500. He's the biggest favorite on the card. Minus 300, going against Kevin Kroom, who I don't believe is UFC caliber. Kevin Kroom's been finished a handful of times as well. I think Kelleher finishes Kroom and finishes them pretty early, to be honest. The only thing is Kroom's going to be much bigger. He's going to have like a 5-inch height advantage, and I think like a 9-inch reach. He has like a 9-inch reach advantage. So that's definitely scary. But again, I just don't think Kroom's UFC caliber. Brian Kelleher, very good finisher, 78%, and Kroom's been finished a massive 8 times. So I'm not going to completely fade Kroom, and I'm not going to completely go in 100% on Kelleher. I think right now I'm like 70% Kelleher, 75% Kelleher, and then I have like 15 to 20% Kroom, because I think this is a fight you're going to want to target. I think someone is getting finished here, and we have seen Kroom come in on short notice before and pull off a first-round finish. So I don't think it's, completely off the table that Kroom, goes in here and gets finished. I think Kroom, definitely has a chance. Everybody has a chance, but I really do like this matchup for Kelleher. He's going to be my highest exposed fighter on the entire slate. TJ Brown, 7,100. This guy is minus 250. He's 7,100. He has a cleared path to victory. We know how to beat Charles Rosa at this point. You take him down. He lays on his back. and you just control him for 15 minutes, which is going to equal a lot of points for Brown. So Brown is going to be very highly owned, and rightfully so. This guy's a big favorite at that price tag. But, I'm not as confident in TJ Brown as I am in Kelleher. I'm going to have a lot of Brown because you have to, but I will have a decent amount of Rosa because Brown is somebody that I really question his fight IQ. This is a guy that has had 3 fights in the UFC, and he's pulled 2 massive stunts in 3 fights. He got submitted by Jordan Griffin from Side Control. What was the other one? He went out there against Chavez and refused to shoot a takedown and got his legs picked apart. So I really question this guy's fight IQ. So I'm not going to go like crazy on TJ Brown. I think I have around like 50%. But I also have a decent amount of Charles Rosa, who we'll talk about, who I think is a very sneaky play this week. But you got to have TJ Brown. He's a big favorite, second biggest favorite on the card, and he's one of the cheapest fighters. So you got to play him, but I'm a little bit iffy about it. GPP plays here are tournament plays. We have Borshev here, 9,000. Again, if he wins, I think there's a really good chance it's by knockout. On the mat, I think he's at a pretty significant disadvantage against Bush, but he has shown a very good get-up game. And on the feet, I think he has a huge advantage against Bush, and again, potentially could knock him out. So Borshev, actually, if it's between him or Giga, I think Borshev's going to be a little bit less owned. I might have, a little bit more interest in a Borshev because I feel like, if Borshev does win, I feel like I like his chances to finish more than Giga, where, again, it's really, really tough to finish Calvin Kattar. But yeah, I think both are fine, both Borshev and Giga up in that 9K range, but Borshev really stuck out to me there. Brandon Royval, 8,800. This guy puts on a phenomenal pace, tons of volume, finishing upside, 92% finish rate. I personally think he breaks Bontaran in the second or third round, gets him out of there. And gets a finish. I think the fight as a whole is going to score very, very well. I think you're going to want a piece of it, and Brandon Royval is my pick in that fight. Court McGee, so this one's going to be interesting. I know a lot of people are going to crap on this, but I was not going to play Court McGee, but I kind of am going to play some for a couple reasons. It's a 10-fight card, and there's not a lot to work with here. So Court McGee, MMA Monk brought this up on the DraftKings show him on Pub Sports on Wednesday, and he said that Court McGee is averaging a little over 90 DraftKings points in wins. And I was like, what? He is? And I went and checked, and yeah, he is. He's actually averaging a little bit over 90 DraftKings points in wins. So if he was, per se, to win here at 8,300, he scores around 90. I mean, yeah, that could be enough to get an optimal lineup. And I can tell you right now, nobody's playing Court McGee this week. Nobody. I'm picking Court McGee to win. I have a bet on Court McGee. But I wasn't too interested in playing him on DraftKings. But if he is going to come in at low ownership, if he does score well in fights and that he wins, and he does, because he has really good volume, he has good wrestling, he has good pace, I don't mind some shots on Court McGee. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but I think I have like 20%. Joseph Holmes, 8,600, we talked about a little bit. I think I have like 15% around there. Very low exposed to this fight, but he has a 100% finish rate, and he's going against Jamie Pickett. I think the price tag is absolutely ridiculous, but if he does win, maybe he is able to submit Jamie Pickett, who he's a brown belt, but Jamie Pickett's been submitted like 2 times, I think, and just Jamie Pickett's very untrustworthy in general, so I don't mind some Holmes, 8,600. I do think he will gain some ownership, which scares me a lot, but I'll play a little bit of Holmes this week. Live dogs, Ramiz Brahimaj, another one of these guys with a 100% finish rate. Court McGee has never been submitted, but Brahimaj, if he does win, I think it's going to be a submission. I think it's going to be an early submission as well. This guy's wrestling and grappling is just on another level. I really like what I see from this guy. Another one of these guys where I do question their fight IQ against Max Griffin. He went out there and tried to strike with Max Griffin for 3 rounds. If he does it with Court McGee, he's going to lose a decision here. I don't like Brahimaj's striking. He's very low volume. He's not accurate. He does land with power, but Court McGee is going to have the volume advantage, the striking advantage. Not the power advantage, but I really did not like what I saw from Brahimaj in his striking. And you can see why. This guy has a 100% finish rate, and all of those wins are coming by submission. So if he comes in here with the right game plan, taking down Court McGee early, a submission could be on the table. I personally don't think so, but I really got to target that 100% finish rate for Brahimaj. Chase Sherman, 7,700. I don't think a lot of people are going to play Chase Sherman. He has a 94% finish rate. He's finished all but one of his fights, and all of those come by knockout. I question the durability of Collier. Collier has been finished 3 times, 2 at middleweight, I believe, 1 at heavyweight. And, in between Collier and Sherman, I think that Collier is going to be the minute winner, but I think if there is a finish in this fight, I do think it's going to come from the Sherman side. He hits much, much, much harder than Collier. So I like Sherman, 7,700, probably going to be low owned, and I think he has some finish upside there. Dakota Bush, 7,200. We talked about it a little bbit. If he gets the fight down to the mat, a submission could be likely. This is a guy that has multiple first-round finishes, multiple first-round submissions. Borshev has not been tested all that much on the ground. From what I have seen from Borshev, again, he has a great get-up game. The takedown defense is questionable, but if Bush can get him down, maybe a submission could happen at 7,200. Kind of intriguing there, and I think he's going to be very, very low owned because he is sandwiched in between TJ Brown and Brian Keller, who's going to get all the ownership. So I do want to attack a lot of these 7K guys here. Rogerio Bontorin at 7,400. Royval fight, fast pace. Bontorin probably is able to get takedowns whenever he wants. Potentially could knock out Royval, who's very hittable. And if Bontorin does win, I do think it's going to be an early finish. If he does not get Royval out of there early, I really question the cardio of Bontorin. And then especially, going against Royval, I really see it hard. I'd be shocked if Bontorin was able to keep up with the pace of Brandon Royval there. So I think if Bontorin does win, I think it's some type of early finish. So at 7,400, I do have some interest in that. Pump plays, Calvin Kattar, 6,900. Yeah, I mean, the price tag's kind of ridiculous here. If he is able to survive those first couple rounds, which I do expect him to do, maybe rounds 3, 4, and 5 could be close. Maybe he could take those, and maybe he can even get a late finish, because we've seen Giga, slow down massively multiple times in 3-round fights and lose multiple 3 rounds. He has looked better as of late, but again, he's never seen a 4th round. He's never seen a 5th round. If he does see that here, 6,100 for Calvin Kattar might not be the worst look in the world. I personally like Giga, but Calvin Kattar at 6,900 is definitely tempting. And then Charles Rosa, 6,800. We talked about a little bit about the fight IQ of TJ Brown. TJ Brown dropping the ball more than once in only 3 fights. The fight IQ of TJ Brown worries me a lot. And Rosa's a legit black belt in BJJ. So I think Rosa's going to have plenty of opportunities to potentially win this fight. And at 6,800, I don't mind some Rosa at all. And then fades, Katlyn Chookagian, 8,100. Pretty simple here. She has not had a finish in the UFC. She's not going to go for takedown. She's not going to get control time. I'd rather play anybody on this. I'd rather save over 1,000 and get a TJ Brown, save over 1,000 and get a Kelleher this week. So there's no point in playing Katlyn Chookagian. But yeah, guys, that is about it. That is the video. I posted everything on the website and on Patreon for this slate. I got out the lineup percentages. The optimizer is all updated. The projections, the ownership projections. The article just got out as well. Yeah, everything's out. So go check that out if you have not yet. If you are a current Patreon and you want to sign up for the website, let me know when you do, and I'll refund you on Patreon. But yeah, $10 a month. Go check that out, guys. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. We'll talk to you very soon. Good luck for UFC Vegas 46.